Welcome to Module 5, Lesson 4. So, we're still in the realm of fractions, and we recently talked about how we can create and take a whole and cut that up to make a certain amount of parts, like sevenths, eighths, ninths. 9 pieces is ninths, 7 pieces is sevenths, 3 pieces is thirds, 4 is fourths, so on and so forth. Now, instead of looking at a whole, we're going to be looking at a fraction of a whole. Now, let me kind of talk about this real quick, and we'll go into more depth on that. So, our goal today is I can identify fractional parts of different wholes. Once again, we're not talking about like a hole that you can fall into or anything like that. We're talking about a whole like a whole chocolate bar or a whole pie or something along those lines. So, going off of this is recognizing that if I had a shape that looked like this, and like a chocolate bar cut into 3 equal pieces, this would be thirds. I would be in the unit of thirds. Now, the next step of this that we're going to go into is the idea is what happens when you eat one of these pieces. The question is, how much of this chocolate bar did you eat? And you could say I ate 1 piece. Well, I could say, well, congratulations, you're absolutely right. You ate 1 piece. But how much is that 1 piece? And you might say, well, there are 3 pieces, and I ate 1 of those pieces. I'll be like, good, you're getting closer. You're absolutely right. But I'm going to ask, what unit are we in again? We're in thirds, right? How many thirds did you eat? Did you eat 1/3? Did you eat 2/3? Or did you eat 3/3? So if you ate only 1 piece, that means you only ate 1/3. Or that could be written as 1/3. 1 of 3. So this would be 1 piece of 3, or 1/3 of a chocolate bar. Now let's say you got hungry and you ate another bar, or another piece. Now I could ask you, how much of this chocolate bar did you eat now? And you could say, well, I want to say 2 again. I'd be like, well, you're right, you ate 2 pieces. But how much of that chocolate bar did you eat? And you would want to say, I ate 2/3. Because how many thirds did you eat? You ate 1/3, 2/3 of how many? 3. You ate 2 of 3. And let's say I got really, really hungry and I just finished eating the entire thing outright. How many thirds did I eat now? I ate 3/3. And obviously we've talked about this before, but this line represents divided by. So this would be 3 divided by 3. And how many times does 3 go into 3? Well, let's get count by 3 with me until we get 3. 3. 1 time. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. So how much of a chocolate bar did you eat? 1 whole chocolate bar. So 3 pieces, or 3/3, is 1 whole chocolate bar. So that's the realm that we're going to be going into now. And so let's go ahead and practice this a couple more times. I'll show you a couple of them, and then, well, we'll go from there. So let's say we had, a box right here. And in this box, I ask you, assuming it's drawn perfectly, I ask you to show me 1/4. I want you to split this up and show me 1/4 of this box. Well, the first question is, how many times are we cutting this box off? Up? Are we cutting into 1 piece, or are we cutting this into 4 pieces? It's the one afterwards, so we're in fourths. So we're going to cut this box into 4 ways. I'm going to cut it like that, like a 4 square. You could do it 4 times that way. That works as well. And how many of these have we filled? 1. So I'm going to put 1 right here. And that's all you need to do. That is 1/4. That's it. Now let's say you had another question down here. Same box, and it says 3/4. You need to ask yourself that first question. What are we cutting it into? And we've already talked about it, so we're in fourths, so we'll cut that into fourths again. And how many fourths do we have? 3. So we fill in 1, 2, 3. And this is important too. It doesn't matter which ones you fill in, as long as you fill in 3 of them. because 3 pieces of 4 is 3 pieces of 4. Doesn't matter where it is. One remaining piece is one remaining piece. So kind of keep that in mind. So that's kind of what we're going at. To give you another one, I'll give you a more complex one that's not giving you the answer straight up. Let's say you had a rectangle here. And I told you I want 3/5. Now, the 3 here, I always like to rewrite these because this is what helps me. I always write this as 3/5, or 3 divided by 5. So the 3 tells you how many pieces you have. The 5, or the one that's at the end, is telling you how many pieces it takes to make a whole. So I have my whole right here. So how many pieces do I need to cut that into? 5s. I need to cut into 5 pieces, or fifths. So I'll do the best I can on that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the best of my ability, we're going to say that those are all equal, the exact same size. And how many of these do I have? How many fifths do I have? 3/5. I have 3/5. And does it matter, do I have to do these first 3, or could it be any 3? It can be any 3. So if I wanted to, I could go 1, 2, 3, like that. Make it kind of look like a stripe. So I have 3/5 that are used. And I could ask how many are left. Well, 1, 2. 2 what? 2/5. So that's kind of the main idea here. You could do this in another manner as well. You could do the circle. I'm going to do the best I can with a good-looking circle. Not going to be perfect. I'm going to find that middle, and let's say I want, let's say, make a mildly simplistic one. 2/4. 2/4, like that. So I'll cut this up into 4 pieces. And how many of them do I have? 2. So 1 and 2. Assuming that all these are the exact same size and the exact same shape, so on and so forth. So that's kind of the entire lesson, is being able to look at and be like, okay, what's 3/5? I have 5 pieces to make a whole, and I have 3 of them. What's 2/4? I have 4 pieces to make one whole, and I have 2 of them. So that's kind of the main idea here. Recognizing what this means and what this means. You figure that out, the fractional part is going to come a lot smoother. I do not want to use the word easy because fractions are tricky. They are very easy to make a mistake on. But if you can understand what this means, it's going to be a lot smoother for you. Less mistakes. As a reminder, the top is the numerator and the bottom is the denominator, because denominator is D for down, so denominator's on the bottom. Just want to give a quick reminder on that. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you learned something from it, and I hope you guys will have a great day.